I'm here today with Kristin Windsor, who is in the middle of a case study. She thought she had finished it, but it had really only just begun. And I'm here now today with Kristin Windsor, consciousness consultant, who has a brand new discovery to share. Thank you so much for being here, Kristin, and thank you for being you. Thank you so much for creating this space for me to express these brand new discoveries. I was not expecting to discover this stuff. It's been such an incredible journey, and my mind is so forever blown at the unexpected plot twists in this miraculous healing journey. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to get to share this with you. My 29th thesis statement is that when consciousness, or the true essence of self, teaches the brain and the body to socially engage with itself, the process of healing internal attachments indirectly reconstructs, reorganizes, and rewrites the entire neurobiological social engagement system that creates all the complex and miraculous structures of the unconscious body-mind. So in my fourth thesis statement, I explained the neurobiological social engagement system, an idea that kind of builds off the polyvagal theory. Basically, every year of life adds neural data to this system. And there's all these different roles in this system based on the abstract brain-body blueprint that every human experiences. And each role within this neurobiological social engagement system carries a distinct style of automated priority, such as emotional and physical well-being, or rest and restitution, or emotional and physical intimacy. And based on the roles in this system and how experience has sculpted neural wiring. So the roles in the system are like the abstract blueprint, and then experience sculpts specific neural data that individualizes the human experience, basically. So based on how every year of life the experiences add neural data into this neurobiological social engagement system that has all these different roles with different automated priorities, that creates the foundation of the unconscious body-mind. And these structures determine how the unconscious body-mind provides navigation and regulation. So navigation happens in the unconscious mind and regulation happens in the unconscious body. So the unconscious body mind has navigation and regulation, and that information stems from the organization of the neurobiological social engagement system. Transforming the neurobiological social engagement system is no simple task. There's neural wiring from 6 months old, 2 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old. Every single nanosecond of life has affected the storage of these neurobiological structures. And the majority of this neural data is unconscious. It's mostly comprised of implicit memories, unconscious memories, stuff that you can't access if you try, and stuff that you don't know is being activated when it's being activated. You could be experiencing projections from implicit emotional memories and have no idea that that's what's happening. You could be experiencing disintegrated action patterns from implicit procedural memories sculpted during past moments of unfulfilled attachment needs and have no idea that that's what's happening. And so the most of what's happening is so unconscious. And so it's like, how do you reorganize this stuff when there's trillions of pieces of information from every nanosecond of your life, and it's all happening unconsciously? Like, you can't reach in there and get to this neural data if you try. You can't be like, okay, I'm going to rewrite implicit procedural memories from age 12. Like, you can't consciously have an intention to do that and then just jump in and do it. Like, you can't do that. It's not neurobiologically possible. And so it's like, well, how does consciousness have power to transform the unconscious body mind when the neurobiological social engagement system has all this unconscious information that's affecting everything about life? The way we instinctively feel and move through decision making, like, all of it's impacted by this neural data. And so a year ago, I could not remember my entire life. And it took me a while to actually realize that that's what's happening. I'd been healing from years of chronic dissociation. And so after all of this work, oh my God, years of work. And I reached a point a year ago where I'm like, great, the trauma's transformed. And all my age regressive states got to finally grow up and be the adult that they wanted to be. And now I'm here and I'm no longer impacted by early childhood trauma. And I can't remember my entire life. And so it's been a very intense process of transforming the neurobiological social engagement system within my unconscious body mind. Just 2 years ago, the neurobiological social engagement system had so much independent activity that there were multiple people inside of this body. And so when my nervous system was engaging in different states, then different regions of neural wiring were activating and different aspects of consciousness were having their own unique experience. And then my nervous system would adjust and all this neural data would adjust, and suddenly all these other aspects of consciousness were having a personal experience of being a completely different person. And this was while healing with adaptable consciousness condition, which you can find out more about in thesis number 10 of my Implicit Revelations case study. Early childhood trauma can create unique order of wiring within the neurobiological social engagement system. And I describe this as a unicorder. It's a unique order of the neurobiological social engagement system. It's not a disorder. There's profound order. It's just very unique because the brain and the body have organized themselves to survive early childhood trauma or severe moments of unfulfilled attachment needs during critical periods of neurodevelopment. So along this healing journey, there was very unique order of wiring within the neurobiological social engagement system. And so just 2 years ago, there were multiple people inside of this body, including several small children and several teenagers and several young adults, and then a couple people who were actually existing in the present day. And none of these people had connection with the body because of severe mind-body disconnectivity. And so very unique order within the neurobiological social engagement system. And so 2020 held a very intense year of transformation that included reconnecting the mind and the body and gradually breaking down amnesic barriers in the neurobiological social engagement system, and then eventually the multiple age regressive states of consciousness each went through their own process of completing the halted stages of neurodevelopment after all of the childhood trauma had been transformed and all of the other stuff that had developed on top of it to cope with it, all this stuff. So 2020 was a big year of transformation. And then towards the end of the year of 2020, my brain hemispheres were starting to communicate, my nervous system was starting to regulate, and consciousness was starting to experience life together rather than independently and with separation between the aspects of consciousness. Kristin gradually regained a neurobiological ability to create new conscious explicit memories in the autumn of 2020. Her first lucid memory was seeing the autumn leaves falling off trees. However, she was still in the final stages of neurodevelopment that had been halted because of suppressed childhood trauma. She was neurodevelopmentally in stages of teenagehood when she regained an ability to create conscious explicit memories, and she could not remember any of her entire life. And so the end of 2020, then 2021 started, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. I just finished my final stages of teenagehood, etc. But now I'm realizing I can't remember my entire life. I couldn't remember my childhood. I couldn't remember my adulthood. And through the past several years, I couldn't create conscious explicit memories. So there was all of this disintegrated neural wiring from those experiences as well. And so just complete, profound, unique order of wiring within the neurobiological social engagement system even still. And it was continually disrupting automated navigation and regulation in the unconscious body-mind. And so this led to a brand new adventure. And it led to the most astounding discovery of a lifetime. My mind is reblown by these insights every single day. And so I'm really excited to share this, and I'm really grateful you're here. So how do you recover memories that you can't remember? How do you rewrite experiences that you don't know happened? How do you help aspects of consciousness come home to a new moment when you cannot connect with the moments that they are in affiliation with according to the neural data that they're experiencing projections from beyond awareness? How do you move forward with a life when you can't remember any of your life? How do you help this neural wiring start to have new connections so that consciousness can be expanded into its full self? And so at the beginning of 2021, I had absolutely no idea. But then by the end of 2021, I had not only discovered the most miraculous way to achieve all of this, but even more than that had been accomplished. And it is eternally astounding, and I'm so excited to share. During my Implicit Revelations case study in 2021, I discovered a way to completely reconstruct, reorganize, and rewrite neural data in the neurobiological social engagement system from all years of life in relation to every role in this neurobiological social engagement system, even the most unconscious of implicit memories. Implicit emotional and procedural memories are completely rewritten during these processes. But the best part, the most astounding part, is that this process does not require any activation of memories. You can rewrite memories from 2 years old. You can rewrite memories from 5 years old. You can rewrite procedural memories, the most unconscious of memories existing in the neurobiological social engagement system, without touching the memories. And so I got to recover all of my memories from childhood. I got to recover all of my memories from adulthood. And I got to rewrite and reorganize all the neural wiring from the past several years where I could not create new memories. And I didn't have to work with any memories to achieve all of this. Isn't that amazing? It's so incredible. It's so incredible. So when consciousness teaches the brain and the body to socially engage with itself. The process of healing internal attachments transforms all data in the neurobiological social engagement system. And so this process held 3 astounding miracles in particular that I want to share as just profound, miraculous, awe-striking miracles of the power and the potential of these ideas. The first was that I was able to recover childhood memories that used to belong to a completely different person in this body who was the farthest away from my present day adult self. So 2 years ago, my left and right brain hemispheres did not have connections. And aspects of my inner child, especially from ages 4, 5, and 6, and surrounding years as well, but especially during that time period, which is when the original childhood trauma had occurred, aspects of consciousness from those periods of life, aspects of my inner child, were experiencing my right brain hemisphere and my hindbrain, while aspects of my present day adult self were experiencing activity in my left brain hemisphere and my forebrain. And then there was about a dozen plus other independent states of consciousness in between those aspects. Okay? So like majorly independent activity in the neurobiological social engagement system. The neural data from early childhood and the neural data associated with my present day self they were so far away from each other, basically. They were so far away from each other because there is this inner child independently activating through an age regressive state of consciousness. And then there's this present day sense of a self. And there's over a dozen other persons in between these aspects of self. And now I can remember aspects of my childhood experiences in relation with who and where I am today. The explicit sense of self who is experiencing life now as an adult has an ability to remember the explicit details and the implicit sensations of childhood experiences that used to be connected with a completely different state of consciousness. A completely independent person inside of this body. There was once age regressive states of consciousness who were completely independent of the adult that I exist today. And now the neurobiological social engagement system has transformed to such a degree that neural wiring has integrated and aspects of consciousness have come home to each other and to the present moment. Consciousness does not integrate. This references one of my other theses statements in this Implicit Revelations case study. And this was really important to understand when healing with adaptable consciousness condition, because there's all these different people and you don't ever want to lose an aspect of you. So understanding the distinction between consciousness and neurobiological structures really helps provide understanding for the journey of healing with any type of unique order or unique order of wiring within the neurobiological social engagement system. Because self-essence is distinct from brain-body structures. But as brain-body structures start to transform along the healing journey, to improve navigation and regulation in the unconscious body-mind by uplifting neural content and connectivity, then the way that the neurobiological structures will interpret sensations of reality and stimulate personal experiences for parts of consciousness will change. So I still have all of the same parts of my consciousness. All aspects of my self-essence are still here and still the exact same aspects of self-essence that they have always been. But the way that these aspects of consciousness are experiencing my sense of self who encounters life are radically different now because the brain and the body have been completely, profoundly, expansively rewired from the ground up. And so understanding the distinction between consciousness and brain-body structures provides deep, deep understanding for unique experiences of consciousness, such as when living with adaptable consciousness condition. So I used to have over 20 different people inside of this brain and body. But that was when the neurobiological social engagement system had all this independent activity because of all of these responses to traumas throughout my life. But once that started to be transformed, then these aspects of consciousness weren't having to be separate from each other anymore. And they started to experience life together. And that felt very different. But all of the aspects of consciousness are still the exact same, because self-essence is completely distinct from brain-body structures. But as brain-body structures changed, the way consciousness flowed through the neurobiological social engagement system to have a personal experience started to totally transform. So just a little side note. It's all a miracle, and every human being is perfect as they are, allowed to experience life exactly as they are. Life was a beautiful divine miracle when there was 20 plus people inside of this body, including many who were very, very young children. And life is a beautiful, blessed miracle as I'm one state of consciousness now as an adult. And no matter who we are or where we're at on the healing journey, every step of our journey is perfect for where we are. And it's important to remember that, because we're not supposed to be this boxed in concept, limited and reduced by external conceptualizations of what reality is supposed to be. And if someone's experiencing life with 50,000 different people inside of their brain and their body, because there are infinite potentials of the human experience, then that's totally allowed. It's totally fine. That's totally cool. Because being alive is a miracle, and we are supposed to just love ourselves. And loving presence matters more than anything else. The healing journey isn't let me go get over there and be more like that and change and be different than what I am. The healing journey is about loving presence. The healing journey is about loving presence. And the more that we can just be present with who and where we are and love these aspects of ourselves, no matter how we're experiencing life, the more power we have. So regardless of the details of the healing journey, every being is a beautiful miracle worthy of loving presence. So the first of many profound miracles in this discovery of my 29th thesis statement was that childhood memories now have connection with who and where I am today. When 2 years ago, that neural data belonged to a completely separate, independent person inside of this brain and body, and 1 year ago, I had zero access to any of that neural wiring, and I could not remember any of my childhood at all whatsoever. The second astounding miracle in this concept of having consciousness teach the brain and body how to socially engage with itself to heal internal attachments and indirectly transform the neurobiological social engagement system. The second miracle that happened was that neural wiring from all adulthood years achieved complete reorganization. So Kristin had been living with adaptable consciousness condition for most of her life, which means that all of the years of teenagehood and all of the years of adulthood, every other minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year was contributing to how experience created new neural data in the neurobiological social engagement system. But because of adaptable consciousness condition, as the brain and the body continued to uniquely develop because of how suppressed childhood trauma was impacting all the systems beyond awareness, there was the development of independent memory centers. Memory centers are organized in relation with the neurobiological social engagement system. And because Kristin was living with adaptable consciousness condition, all the years from teenagehood, adulthood, all these years had created neural wiring in independently developed memory centers. And that contributed to all these independent states of consciousness when she lived with adaptable consciousness condition. Applying the idea in this thesis statement allowed all of those memory centers to achieve new connections with one another without touching the memories directly, to neurowiring in relation with emotional intimacy from age 17, and neurowiring in relation with physical intimacy from age 25, and neurowiring in relation with rest and restitution from age 21. All this neural data from all these independently developed memory centers through independent activity within the neurobiological social engagement system were suddenly being transformed without touching the memories. And so every year of life adds to the neurobiological social engagement system, contributing neural data from experience in relation to all these different roles. But when different roles and different years of neural wiring operate independently, then it creates unique experiences of consciousness. And any moments of unfulfilled attachment needs can activate this unique activity. And so unicorders are actually very common in the world, just ranging to different degrees and severities based on the intensity of unfulfilled attachment needs and how early in life that began. And so the second astounding miracle that happened through the application of this idea was that independently developed memory centers sculpted during teenagehood and adulthood, so after the original stages of neurodevelopment, basically, a decade of neural data that had been stored in independently developed memory centers was achieving connectivity with increased amplification of the neural content. So the neural wiring was being totally transformed without touching the neural wiring. I didn't have to go in there and activate neural data from different years of life in relation to these different roles to rewrite and reorganize all of the information in the neurobiological social engagement system. It did it on its own when applying these ideas effectively. The third astounding miracle that occurred through the application of these ideas on a daily basis was that my brain and body were able to rewrite experiences that had never been processed, not even when they happened, from the past 4 years.
I'm here watching my wife's video that she's making, and I'm like so blown away by all of this. Are you guys as blown away as I am? Because I'm blown away. Like, what?
And so beginning in 2017, Kristin experienced profound amnesia. Kristin describes herself in the third person here because 2017 Kristin is a completely distinct aspect of the self from the present day Kristin. Even more accurately, the 2017 aspects of Kristin do not exist anymore because 2017 created neural wiring, but now that data is integrated, so the consciousness who was there is now fully here. And practicing distinction and connection between aspects of consciousness helps apply these ideas to nurture the unconscious body-mind, helping to integrate neural wiring beyond awareness while welcoming aspects of consciousness home to each other and the present moment. And so beginning in 2017, Kristin experienced profound amnesia. It had been gradually developing for many years because of adaptable consciousness condition, various types of dissociation, and how different trauma responses were affecting her health, etc. But in 2017, it reached a new period, and she could not create any new conscious memories at all. And her sense of self completely dissolved as all these different states of consciousness were pronounced in their independent activity because of how gnarly life had gotten, basically. And so Kristin lost the ability to create conscious, explicit memories at all. So there were multiple types of amnesia happening. From 2017 to 2020, there were multiple states of consciousness, none of which had full connection with the body. And there was zero ability to create new conscious, explicit memories at all. But obviously, life still happened. There was still experiences through all of those years. This video is from February 10th, 2019, when one of my youngest age-regressive states of consciousness got her very own bicycle. To discover what was happening in the healing journey at this point, please explore part 1 of my known documentary series. It's kind of fun to piece together the timeline of things and see what was happening in relation to the healing journey. This video is from June 16th, 2019. An adult state of consciousness within Kristin's neurobiological social engagement system while living with adaptable consciousness condition created this video for Ocean Eyes, one of the youngest age-regressive states of consciousness affiliated with the core childhood trauma of molestation.
Angels flow through my veins. Angels transform my DNA. I call on the Archangel Michael. I call on the Archangel Raphael. I call on the Archangel Michael. I call on the Archangel Raphael. Angels be with me. Spirit flow through me.
Due to complex health challenges, including a complete mind-body disconnection, 2019 Kristin held zero ability for self-witnessing. She recorded this video, along with many others, to see her own self within experience. Her various states of consciousness rewatched this video dozens, if not hundreds of times, continuously surprised by their own existence.
Angels flow through my veins. Angels transform my DNA. Angels flow through my veins. Angels transform my DNA. Angels flow through my veins. Angels transform my DNA. Angels flow through my veins. Angels be with me through this day. Angels be with me through my expansion. Angels be with me through this day. And so it is.
This video is for Ocean to see our magic we are making, because I resonate with the magic, but it's hard for me to see it happening because I'm not a physical person. This video is for Ocean to see our magic we are making, because I resonate with the magic, but it's hard for me to see it happening because I'm not a physical person.
And there was zero ability to create new conscious explicit memories at all. But obviously, life still happened. There was still experiences through all of those years. So every nanosecond was creating neural data, but it wasn't being organized effectively. Every moment of experience during these unique years was creating neural wiring, but that neural data held disintegrated, implicit neural fragments. And so there's a random sensation here, and a random feeling here, and a random body movement here, and a random this here. And it was all sensations-based. It was all implicit, emotional, and procedural memory data. So the body was remembering feelings, and the body was remembering movements, but there was no sense of an explicit autobiographical memory being recorded for over 3 years. So yeah, I don't know how I'm alive right now, so that's good. I don't know how I'm alive, but it's a good thing to be alive. So there were no explicit autobiographical memories being created during that time, but there were implicit emotional and procedural memories being created. And that was a whole other specific region of focus during the implicit revelations case study. Was Kristin was trying to understand this unique aspect of her memory and how her body was recording abstract emotions and abstract movements, but there was no sense of self, and there was no fluid storyline about these emotions and movements, basically. It was just implicit memory fragments being recorded without any sense of explicit autobiographical details. And so the third astounding miracle that unfolded while applying the idea that I share here in this thesis is that the implicit memory fragments were fully transmuted and processed. For example, certain styles of stimulus would activate implicit memory fragments. Using a certain scent of deodorant would cause aspects of the unconscious body-mind to relive moments of dissociative blackouts from a couple of years ago. Using my oxygen machine a couple of years ago brought floods of sensations from the 2 years prior to that. Wearing a certain robe that Kristin used to wear when she would go on really long walks in the middle of the night when she couldn't sleep because of all the trauma-related night terrors and other health challenges, etc. Kristin in 2020 couldn't wear that robe without having floods of sensations. And now I wear that robe every day, no problem, as the consciousness I am now in brand new moments, because all the implicit neural fragments from the past several years have been completely transformed without touching any of the specific memory data. It's a miracle. Walking on a certain walking path that was used for chronic healing purposes for several years created floods of implicit sensations. And all of these were very, very terrifying to experience. During these types of implicit projections, which came in floods, there was a loss of grounded presence in the moment, and the sensations themselves were genuinely unbearable. And all of that is completely 1,000% transformed now. And I can explore these types of stimulus that used to activate implicit memory fragments. And I can use all the stimulus and it doesn't have any negative activations in the unconscious body mind anymore. 1 year ago, I could not even listen to music and enjoy it in a brand new moment. Because when Kristin could not create conscious explicit memories in relation to a sense of self for over 3 years, one of her major coping tricks was to create a new music playlist every month, and that was her amnesia checkpoint, because the unconscious body-mind could remember the sensations of listening to certain music, and that helped provide a sense of orientation in time and space when Kristin did not have one. And so 1 year ago, I could not listen to music and enjoy it in a brand new moment at all. I couldn't listen to, I neurobiologically could not listen to music a year ago. And now I have dozens and dozens of playlists with hundreds and hundreds of songs, and I've memorized lyrics for most of them, and I listen to and enjoy music for several hours every day. And that's all because of applying thesis number 29 on a daily basis, which helped indirectly transform those unconscious memories from all those years where Kristin was using music in a variety of ways to cope with the unfathomable. And now it's all transformed, but I didn't have to touch any memories to achieve all of that, and I'm really grateful for that. The implicit memory fragments were fully transmuted and processed. And the brain and the body somehow created some sensations of explicit autobiographical memories from those experiences. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and I'm guessing more will happen as I continue to apply these practices. But a year ago, I couldn't remember the past several years at all, and if I tried to look back at it, I relived the implicit fragments in the body. And so there was all these just intense emotions and uncomfortable body feelings and weird action patterns affecting decision making and desires and all this weird stuff going on. And I couldn't explicitly remember any of it as an experience that I had had but am no longer having, which is kind of what explicit autobiographical memories help you do. You can understand, I'm a me here now, I was a me then, I had an experience, but now I'm here. And there wasn't that ability a year ago. But through the continued application of these ideas, the implicit memory fragments are totally transformed. I can look back at experiences without reliving any of the sensations, and they no longer impact navigation or regulation in the unconscious body-mind. And there's an ability to look back at a lot of these experiences and have an explicit autobiographical sense of self when that didn't exist during those experiences or afterwards. The process of applying these ideas provided the unconscious body-mind with energetic tools to totally transform the untransformable. And so I can look back and remember things from the past few years when there wasn't an ability to do that before. And the implicit fragments from those experiences is rewritten and can't negatively impact me at all ever again. And so these are 3 astounding miracles that have unfolded through the continued application of these ideas. Childhood memories that used to belong to a completely independent person in this body are now fully connected with who and where I am today, allowing aspects of my inner child to see the adult that she grew up to be and the adult who is here now to care for her. Independently developed memory centers throughout all of the primal years of adulthood are now connected with an unfathomably remarkable sense of improved neural connectivity to a degree that I couldn't have intentionally done if I had tried to directly do that. And most astoundingly of all, memories from times when memories couldn't be created are totally transformed. And all of this was achieved without working with any memory data at all. None. I didn't have to work with a single memory to achieve all of these things. So how? How did this happen? How did this happen? And how can this idea be shared in an abstract way so anybody can take it and make it their own? Mama's evolving. Mama's evolving. Oh. It gets weirder and weirder as I say stuff out loud. It gets weirder and weirder. Anyway. What's the gumdrop buttons? I don't know what I'm doing! I don't know what I'm doing! I give up. I feel like I'm teleporting to some alternate dimension. Maybe I am because I'm embodying my future higher self.
I'm not even from Earth.
Memories are organized in the neurobiological. Memories are organized in the in relation to or in memory. Let's see. Memory centers are organized in relation with the neurobiological social engagement system, where there's all these. Pookie Bear! Hey! Hey! Mama's making a video! Hey! Come here! Come up on the chair! Come up on the chair! Yeah! That's my handsome schnookums. That's my handsome schnookums. That's my handsome schnookums. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Who's the most handsome? Is Pookie the most handsome? Is Kristin the most handsome? Oh, the fluffy baby. The lions and tigers and Pookies. Oh, my. Lions and tigers and Pookies. Oh, my. Lions and tigers and Pookies. Oh, my. Okay. Hey, Pookie Bear! Pops! Hey! I love you, but I need no space of snuggles. Come here. Come here. Oh! Mama's evolving. Mama's evolving. Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm so grateful for you. So grateful for you. He's such a little rebel child. Such a little rebel child. Here, Bubsy. Why don't you go play outside, okay? It's okay. He's so cute. Such a little child. Okay. It's gonna be all this hair floating on the camera. So neural wiring.
I'm here, that's all that matters. I'm not even from Earth.